Welcome to Breaking Limitations Show with our host, Joyce Marendes. We are here to empower, equip, and promote. Let us discover your superpower.
Represent your commitment to breaking limitations by visiting breakinglimitationsnow.com to purchase your Breaking Limitations t-shirt, tank top, or hoodie today. What limitation are you holding on to? The Breaking Limitations Mindset Journal has 63 daily quotes and scriptures that will help you break every limitation in your life. Get your copy today.
Hi, welcome to the Breaking Limitations Show. And if you are just joining us today, we're going to be talking about effective goal setting. And our focus is going to be on 2022. And I'm excited to have Bishop Chris Atemo here with us. And we will be talking about how we can create effective goals. So Bishop Chris, welcome again to the Breaking Limitations Show. We're excited to have you here again as we talk about this topic on goal setting. And so one of the things that a lot of questions we've been getting is how can people create effective goals? Because we find that at the end of the year, a lot of people create all these different goals and they never really, maybe by February, March, people are not even remembering what goals they had set because they no longer even pursue those goals. So, so how can we, as the Breaking Limitations Academy, help them to be able to set effective goals?
You see, it is one thing to set goals, and I think more and more people are actually getting aware of how to do that. One of the most famous goal setting programs would be the SMART goals, that the goals are supposed to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time specific. But now the greatest challenge comes into the implementation. The people who will set very good goals, and they will know very specific goals that they want to attain. Then they will have measure to it, measurable goals, not wild goose chase. And they will feel like this is very achievable. It's within them to accomplish that. And they think it is relevant to their values, to where they want to go to. And they will say, well, this is what I want to do within the year 2022. So it will be time specific as well. But they do not have the self-motivation. They do not have the discipline. They do not have the drive to stay on course. However good a goal is on paper or in your mind, it is still going to face certain challenges because there are a lot of things that are very unpredictable. My goal could be, to save money. Then what happens when either the business is not doing very well, or I've got to take a pay cut, or there's a sickness somewhere that I've got to attend to, there's a situation somewhere else that needs the money to go there. What happens? Those are very unpredictable things. You cannot be sure of what will happen totally between January and December. Now, it takes discipline to stay on course with those kind of things. So that then if I am setting a goal, and the realistic part of it is that I need to take into consideration certain things that would come up as emergencies, certain things that would come up as possible losses? What if things go wrong? What kind of goals would I still have if everything just falls apart? We didn't see 2020 coming. We didn't see COVID hitting it and taking up the whole of 2020 and taking up most of 2021. So you've got to start thinking from the point of, even as I'm setting these goals, what if things go wrong? What if I lose my income? What if I don't have the support system that I have? So what can I work with? And you begin to build your goals from what you can work with from the lowest common denominator. That becomes easier to sustain. That becomes easier to keep going. And then it is also important for us to, develop these accountability partners. For us to achieve these goals, we need accountability partners. We can't just be throwing things. There are people who can actually lead themselves. We've talked about self-leadership. The people who can actually lead themselves. If they say, I'm going to do this, they will do that. There are other people who know that that is not their strength, that they really cannot do that. Now, it's not that they are bad people, but they just need accountability. And somebody needs to be honest with themselves and say, well, you know what, Joyce, I'm going to need this. I'm going to need you to help me get to this place. This is what I would want to achieve, and I want you to keep me on track. I will be accountable, which means I have to be vulnerable to you, and I will want you to periodically, continually just talk to me about the things that I've set out to do, so that in any case I am straying, I can get back on track.
And that thing about getting an accountability partner is so important, because we get distracted with life when we are pursuing life, and maybe we set out certain goals and then life happens. And so when you have an accountability partner, they always remind you that, you remember you're supposed to do this, or you're supposed to do that. How far are you on this? And that's very powerful, because that made a very great impact for me, getting someone who can help me with that. Because sometimes you set these goals, you desire, but then you're like, okay, you find yourself sometimes the truth is, sometimes comfort tastes better than hard work and discipline, And
True.
and so when you have someone who's checking up on you, who asks you those hard questions, you're like, okay, yeah, the truth is, I've not been doing this and this, so I'll get back up and do it. And I learned that from my whole like weight loss journey, because my coach used to do that all the time, checking on me, like, what are you doing? Should set up goals for each month, like, how far are you with this goal? And I'll be like, oh my gosh. I remember one time I was supposed to run, I think like 25 miles in a month. And when it was almost the last day, like the last week, I still hadn't done it. So that week I had to run so many miles till I was so upset with myself, but I was able to accomplish the goal. But it's because I had someone, I was accountable to someone. So I think that having someone who's accountable, you're accountable to, is also really good. But deep down, we also have to be driven to want to see that goal come to pass. So even if that person doesn't check up on you, you should still want to accomplish the goal.
Yeah, because the coach is just supposed to help you achieve your goals as well. They're not supposed to give you the goals. They're not supposed to completely force you to do that. They're just supposed to encourage you and help you and guide you. Now, some people, even when they see coaches, especially when they pay the coaches, then they will feel like, you should have done everything because I paid you. But you can't pay somebody and then expect them to put motivation deep down in you. It's like a kid going to school. They paid the school fees, yes, but they've got to study. They've got to study. They're not going to pass exams because they paid the school fees, so the teacher needs to just find a way of putting information in their head. And that's what sometimes we do as adults. And even in choosing these accountability partners, we need people who are friendly enough to be connected to us, but they are firm enough to stick to the goals that we need to accomplish. They are firm, but they are friendly enough to connect with us. So they're not trying to break us, but they're friendly, they connect with us. They feel what we feel so that our celebration becomes their celebration. They're connected to us emotionally, but they are firm enough as well not to allow us to use our emotional connection as a bribe for not doing what we need to do. Uh, because some people choose the people that will let them slide with everything, so they don't really get to do anything, because the people they've chosen to be their accountability partners will just keep on saying, I understand. Yeah, I understand. Well, you can do it next year. And they're just in March. They're just in March and they're already talking about next year. I think we also need to know that even if you have not started off well, like what you said, at some point you didn't run the miles you needed to, then towards the end of the month, then you had to really run. We need to know that even if you've not taken off like you wanted, or even if you face some challenge in the course of it, do not stop what you need to do just because you think you've lost the time. So the example that I've given, maybe by March I've not started. And I think I needed to start in January. So I start telling myself, you know what? Let me register for next year, January. Let me enroll for classes for next year, January. I'm wasting a whole 9 months from over there. Yeah. So always learn to pick yourself up. Learn to make the most out of what you have. There is this saying that when you hit the pothole, that is not the end of the journey. You're either going to fix your tire or change it, but you continue with your journey, and that is part of the learning process that you grow in, even in the setting of goals. So don't expect that your goal achieving process outside of the goal setting, the goal achieving process is going to be seamless. When you have other expectations on your goals, you easily get discouraged when you face the challenges.
And that is so true. I was listening to Dr. Caroline Leaf, and she had talked about that also, about a little bit on when we set our goals, we are so excited, our brain is like at a high. And then after some time, it takes like 7 days for us to get back to, normal. And that's why you'll find people will be going to the gym at the beginning of the year. They'll be doing all these things, but within a week, all those excitement has gone down. Now, the only thing to sustain them is self-discipline, which is not there. So a lot of people will be like, okay, they'll stop maybe going to the gym if that was their goal, or stop doing what they need to do. But she was letting us know that it's a normal process. And so when you get to that place where you don't feel like continuing pursuing your goal, just know this is a normal process. So let me just continue doing my goal anyway.
I think that, I think that also we need to look at it as a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes.
So you don't get off today and you've told everybody how you're going to the gym and you've got all these selfies and you're in the gym and burning the calories and so high excitement. Then after 4 days, you are nowhere. See, one of the things we have to learn in our day is to do things for us, not for the camera. We have to learn how to do things for us. Like, can I actually, apart from having accountability partners, can I actually stay in the gym for 4 months without necessarily putting up the videos over there? Because sometimes this pressure is crazy with emotions. When you're going to run like 25 miles or something, you don't take off like somebody who's sprinting. And that is how you're supposed to take off with your goals as well. You need to begin from a point where you pick up the tempo as you go. Not taking off with a sprint, then the energy runs out. Nobody can sustain high performance for long. At some point, you will just get drained of energy and concentration. So it's important to build up. As you build up, you allow yourself the opportunity to learn, to fall, to rise, to pick up, and then build momentum as you go.
and that is so true. And I think a lot of times people feel that if they get discouraged and they stop pursuing that goal, then they should just leave it alone. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. Especially as Christians, we are like, you know what, this wasn't even the Lord's will, otherwise he would have come and helped me. And so I was listening to that actually. I listened to this. There's a clip that was being forwarded around about someone was talking about just like sometimes we hide behind prayer. I'm gonna pray about it. I'll pray about it, but and then it causes us not to put in the work or to put in the action that we need to do in order to get that result. Because sometimes when God says he's given you the grace, like you will accomplish this goal, but he never said, like though he told Nehemiah, you will rebuild the wall. God gave them the grace to rebuild the wall, but he never came down and just built every brick by brick. They had to do all the work. They had to clean up the place. They had to build everything. They had to even have people to stand and watch and be ready to fight in case they are attacked. But God was with them throughout the whole step, but they had to work the whole time. And so that's one thing we always have to remember, because I think, especially as Christians, we like to be in that, I'll just pray about it, and I'll just pray for God to open a door. I'll pray for God to put $1,000 in my bank account. And so it's funny how some things sound funny, but we actually, like a lot of people believe that and they do that and they don't see the results, and then they get upset and say that God doesn't really work. So,
Interesting when you say that God won't come down. Interesting how when he told Moses that he had come down actually to deliver Israel from Egypt, but he said to Moses, "Come, let me send you." So he had come down, but he wasn't going.
I know. Oh my gosh,
he had come down and he said, "Look, I want to send you." And I don't know why. I don't know whether he lost his direction or something, because Egypt and Midian, and he wants to go and deliver guys in Egypt, but he comes to Midian and says, "Moses, you know what? I need to send you. I need you to go over there, and then you will be a god to Pharaoh. I mean, you will speak." Moses says, "I'm a stammerer." We have to challenge ourselves. Just that story alone will teach you how we've got to challenge ourselves to fulfill our goals. Like, it's not that it was the easiest thing for him to do, to go and bring out these people, but he had to challenge himself. So sometimes, even just in achieving our goals, we have to become a better version of ourselves in order to do that. So we may have to acquire certain skills. We may have to learn new disciplines. We may have to realign our time. We may have to begin to walk in different virtues in order to get to the place that we want to get to. And I will use something as simple as, let me just use that again because it's a bit easier. Let me use something like, I want to save some money, probably to build or to buy some property. It's going to require me to have a certain discipline when it comes to savings. It's going to require me to have a certain discipline when it comes to spending. So I may need to learn certain skills as well, which is, saving. I may not have that. That may not be my strength, but then I begin to learn how to just set aside some money and how to monitor the money that is coming in and how to just make sure that this money is going to get to the place where I need to get to. Then I learn the discipline of not going to draw out that money because I saw something that I liked, because I've got something that is coming ahead. We probably mostly think that we are going to remain to be the same people and achieve the goals that we desire. It's going to take work on you as a person to get to the place that you want to. So it's not just the goal that you have set, there is also the person growing into the goals so that you can fit into those goals.
And that's so true about the growth part, because sometimes there are things that God wants us to have, but he's not going to give it to that version of us that we are right now. He wants you to because he wants you to become to grow into that blessing, whatever he has. And so that period of growth, that period that we of waiting, should be the period that we're taking time to grow ourselves, to become whatever it is that we are aspiring to be, so that we can fit into that role. And so that's really good. That's really important to be able to do that. And then also when it comes to goal setting, to be patient also, just the way you talked about the when you the example of saving, because and I can give an example of maybe one, like starting a business, because a lot of times someone can say, you know what, in 2022 my goal is to have a business or to become self-employed and to do XYZ. And most of the time when people do that, they're forgetting that, okay, it took time, it will take time for that business to grow, it will take time for that business for you to make a profit and all that. And so we find people starting off and then they give up and maybe go back to what they used to do because they didn't give it enough time to grow. So how would you encourage someone to, like, if you have a goal, especially when it comes to like starting a business, to just know that there are stages of that business so that you can be able to, so you don't give up too early?
I always would look at it when thinking about business. I'd always ask somebody to either do a business in an area they have passion for, or do a business in an area that there's a problem they are solving. Not just driven by profit. When you have the passion for it, you can wake up and go back to it even when you're not making the money. That's the importance of the passion. Sometimes you will get business in an area that you don't have passion for, but is there a problem that you're solving? If you're solving a problem, if there is a need in the community in that particular place, then that need can sustain the business, because it will create a demand for that business. And you will also have this element of the sentimental value that the business brings to you, which is satisfaction with the fact that you are meeting needs. With that, you are able to sustain it longer. If you're only looking for profit, it is easy to discourage you. If you're going for profit in an area that you're not passionate about, and you can't really tell what problems you're solving, you can easily get out of there, because you can put in so much money and get discouraged after 2 to 3 days or 3 weeks and just pull out from that place. So look at areas that you either are passionate about, or areas where there's a problem that you're solving, a need that you're meeting, and that need will always give you the market. So the money may come later. It is not always that when you've got the market, you start having the money. A business will have to go through natural processes as well. There are quite a number of things that you've got to do. It is also important for one to invest money that they are ready to lose. If you're putting it in there, just tell yourself this is not coming back, and detach yourself from that money completely. So if you're not willing to lose it, don't put it in there, because then we will lose you. We will lose you. You will go into depression, you will become suicidal, and we don't want to lose you. So get to understand how far can you go. People have got different risk appetites as well. Now, get to know how far you can go. There's now that you've raised this, there are also stages at which you have to ask yourself, would I want to just go out and begin a business? For example, you're 60 or 65. So you've got this money just sitting over there. You want to go into farming? Would you want to do that right now and take 100 acres and start from there? Would you want to start from there? I don't think that would be very wise for you, because you don't have the energy. So you just need probably something that you can take care of around you. If it grows, then thank God it grows. There are certain things that you can do in your 20s and 30s and 40s that you may not do later on. Would you want to take all your savings and put into something that you do not even know how it runs? That wouldn't be so good. People sometimes ask the wrong question. They say, what can I do with $1,000? That's the wrong question to ask when it comes to starting a business.
I know.
find your passion, find a problem that you want to solve. Then even if you're going to start it with $5, start it with $5. But don't look for a business where you can put in $1,000. That's the wrong question. Find what you connect with first of all, then see what you need to put into that. Yeah.
And that what you're saying, that is so true when it comes to solving a problem. Like, you have to be able to be solving a problem, and it has to be a current problem, because sometimes you can be passionate about maybe fixing a typewriter, and no one is using typewriters, right? No one is using. So I know some people are like, what is a typewriter? And so, but you could be passionate about something like maybe that, and yet no one is using it, or maybe that's not a problem that people are facing right now. So just making sure people do their research so that they're trying to solve the right problem that's current, so that they can be relevant. Otherwise, you'll just be starting a business solving this problem that actually doesn't really exist anymore. So,
and there are people that don't actually need to start a business, because it looks very prestigious to say I run my business. But
we're getting white hairs trying to run a business.
Yeah. It's important to know your strengths. It's important to know your functionality. There are people who are doing very well on a job. There are people who are doing very well in a business. Understand your functionality. And when you do that, then maximize your greatest area of functionality.
That's true. And I think it also ties back to understanding your identity, what you're called here for, what problem are you here to solve, so that you can know that so you can know that you're in the right path and stick it to your lane, regardless of what's going on out there. So yeah, that's really good. Yeah, so I know those have been really, really good points. Any final points that you want to go ahead and oh, you know what? There's something else I wanted to ask you about. When people are setting goals, to set them according to categories, because sometimes people just set all these goals that they want to accomplish, but to be able to specify, like, okay, these are my spiritual goals, these are my financial goals, these are my health goals, and all that, so that you can be able to track it, to know, okay, for my financial goals, this is what I want to do. For my health goals, maybe this is how I want to change my health. For spiritual, this is what I want to do. And I think sometimes when we just talk about goals, we put them all like in like one blanket form, but when we specify in different categories, that kind of helps it helps us even as we are visualizing and planning for our day. So,
and it does create the balance as well, because we are spirit, soul, and body. And if all your goals have to do with your money, what about your spirit? What about your emotions? What about your mind and your intellect? What about your body? So we've got to take care of every part of us, your spirit, your soul, which is the seat of your mind, your intellect, your emotions, and your will, and your body as well. It's important to actually compartmentalize those and then complement every other aspect. Because if I attain financial freedom, but then I'm not healthy, I'm going to lose that money anyway. I'm going to spend most of that money on my health. If I am emotionally distraught and I am physically doing well, it's just a matter of time, and I will go back into being out of shape, because I don't have the motivation then to maintain even my body in health, because I'm in a bad emotional place. If I'm not in a good place spiritually, it may also easily make me vulnerable emotionally as well, and mentally. I may be very susceptible to attacks, to certain kinds of thoughts. And so it's important to know that the whole body has to work together, and the whole person needs to be whole. you cannot also just be whole spiritually and say, I've got these goals and I'm going to pray and fast and study the word, and then you're not doing anything for yourself. You won't have a place to lay your head to pray from. You'll be praying from the streets. So it's important that we take care of every aspect and just create the balance around your life. But even as you do so, enjoy the journey of growth. Enjoy the journey of growth. I love to talk about how, when God was creating in the first 5 days, every single day, he looked at it and he said it was good. Now, Joyce, God could have just said, let everything be, and everything would have come forth. But he just created them in stages, and the evening and the morning was day 1, and God said it was good. The evening and the morning was day 2, he said it was good. The evening and the morning was day 3. And God celebrated what we would call little successes, little wins. He celebrated that. So learn also to appreciate, okay, the money is not yet coming, but now I am at a better place emotionally. So you use your win in order to fuel the other battles that you need to go into. So you say, I'm at a better place emotionally, the money will come. I'm at a better place spiritually. I'm relating better with people. So if you keep on measuring these goals, evaluating them, as you keep on evaluating, you monitor, evaluate, you keep on looking for the wins, and you use those wins to motivate you in the areas that you still need to conquer. It's like a whole exam. This is how I used to sit exams. I would start with the easy ones, and just clear the easy ones so that I have all the time for the difficult ones. If you started with a difficult one, you might end up being told, hey, we've got 5 minutes to go, and you've not done even the easy ones. So I would start with the easy ones. So when you're able to look at other aspects of your life that you're winning in, then you can get the motivation to pursue the other areas in your life that you still need to work on. But just make sure that your goals align your spirit, soul, your body.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good to just be able to do that, because it's more of the gratitude, because they say gratitude helps every single day, just being thankful for the small goals that you've been able to accomplish. So that's really good. I like even the illustration you've given of how God created the world, because he could have said, you know what, earth be, and everything could have appeared. But he chose to do it in all those days. So that's really I'm gonna think about that and always remind myself when I'm trying to do something. I'll be reminding myself, like, okay, enjoy what you've accomplished right now as you're pursuing this other area. And then even sometimes just being thankful, the way you said, for the money might not be there, but you're thankful that you're in a better space emotionally, or maybe you're in a better place mentally, that you can even think now of ways of making the money, because sometimes we focus so much on making financial goals that we forget to be thankful of all these other things, sometimes just your health. 2020 has taught us that you can't just assume that you'll always be healthy. Something can happen, and before you know it, you have no health. Or even just having a sound mind, because there are so many people struggling out there. So if you can just be in a place where you have a sound mind, you're emotionally healthy, that is really good things to be thankful for. So we are completely out of time. So what I would like for you to do is, if you can go ahead and just share your social media platforms, so we can be able to have people follow you, and they can get to hear some of the wisdom moments and the different things that you have been. I always listen to them. They're so good. So more people can be able to follow you and get to hear some of the things that you've been teaching.
So CJ Atemo on YouTube, CJ Atemo on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook as well. But for ministry, then you find the Chris J. Atemo page on Facebook Yes.
Wow, guys, thank you. Thank you so much. Make sure you're following Pastor Chris on every single social media platform. You will always get some good information, good encouragement, rebuke, everything. You'll get some. I like.
That's not my identity.
No, that's not your identity. No, but I liked the one that you had posted on the phone numbers. No, but he has a lot of good information, just a lot of wisdom nuggets that you can get. So make sure you're following him on all social media platforms, and you're also looking him up on YouTube, because he has a lot of good YouTube videos that you can listen to. And then, of course, if you're not following us on the Breaking Limitations page, make sure you're following us on our Facebook page, our Instagram, and also on our YouTube. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here on today. We really appreciate it, and thank you so much.
What limitation are you holding on to? The Breaking Limitations Mindset Journal has 63 daily quotes and scriptures that will help you break every limitation in your life. Get your copy today. Represent your commitment to breaking limitations by visiting breakinglimitationsnow.com to purchase your Breaking Limitations t-shirt, tank top, or hoodie today.